Hey everyone, welcome to Horrible Gaming. My name is Nora, and on today's video I am teaching you how to do several layouts for your citycore island with an airport that is very close to your plaza. Keep in mind that even though we're working on a winter save today, including my future Japanese island, this entry that we're doing and the other entries that we'll do today are not limited to these themes. It's just the island that I was on today, so just keep that in mind if you are somebody needing some entry help for your island. Before we get started, please do hit that like, subscribe, and notify button if you want to see more content like this in the future. I also want to add we will not be focusing on decor today in this video. It is strictly for layout ideas and the possibilities that you can do on your island, so make sure your audio is turned up as we're going to be discussing a lot of different transitions that you could do, etc. So you will have to be dealing with my annoying voice for this whole entire video. I mean, that's like every single video anyway, so basically nothing new. So to start our new citycore entry, we're going to use a lot of different codes for this. The first code that I used was a tile by me, and I left the center pieces transparent so the snow kind of comes through there just to look like the snow has kind of like built up in the grout of the tile. Then we are using COLIN.CROSSING's beautiful new snow roads, and this first entry layout right here is about 3 squares width. However, I am going to be using a wider road for this part of the entry, so when we use the car item, it doesn't look like it's being smashed into the road. It gives us plenty of space to use the car item. Obviously, choose whichever width of the road design you like best, but this is what I'm doing for this part. Next, we're going to fill in the rest of the squares with some tiles. The one thing I want to add about citycore is a lot of people assume that when you do a citycore island, you need to have that citycore build immediately at entry. This is absolutely not true. Give yourself plenty of space. And not only that, but this is going to reduce lag on your island. If you have an entry this simple and you're somebody who wants to do citycore but you just don't want all that lag, space things out. Don't force a citycore entry immediately at the entry of your island. Trust me, it'll work out. If your plaza is not aligned like this to your airport, don't worry, this still will work for a plaza that's slightly off-centered, or maybe it's further to the right or left. But I will do more builds like this in the future for people who are having struggles with this, because I understand when your airport is really close to your plaza, it just makes it really difficult to figure out where to go layout wise. So I hope that these transitions can kind of like kickstart your island. And again, keep in mind, if you're not doing a winter theme and you're not doing a Japanese island, this will still work for other themes. Just make the code adjustments needed for this. I really love using fencing on my citycores, and I'm going to use the iron fence customized to black on this. You can obviously use any fence you want here. Hedges work great, the Zen fencing, but I'm trying to use this island kind of with a more like Tokyo outskirt modern vibe for my winter theme in the future. So this is the type of fencing that I'm going to choose for this island. Keep in mind, I'm not really focusing on decor today, so put your own twist and decor to this if you recreate it. And I'm gonna frame the rest of Plaza off with hedges, and then we're just gonna add some minor details. I'm actually adding some little snow piles to COLIN.CROSSING's road tile, and I recreated some snow piles on these tiles, and again, I'm gonna have all the codes in the description. I want to add a couple more different variations of snow on the tiles, so that is definitely planned in the future. And keep in mind that I like to focus on road details. That's just something I prefer personally. If you want to have as much design code space as possible, make adjustments as needed, but I just really love focusing on making my roads feel very realistic. Also, that's why I really like doing Japanese islands. A lot of people are always like, Nora, why do you always do Japanese islands? Maybe they don't actually say that, but maybe you're thinking that. This is why, because I can focus more on my road placement with Japanese windows. You can reuse them constantly because the architecture in the cities are very similar to each other, so it makes reusing your designs a lot more convenient, basically. So if your road doesn't end like at the edge of your island like this, don't worry, you can continue to expand this road and transition at the end of it however you like it, but since we're about to be literally at the edge of my island. I am just gonna frame that off. And right here, I'm prepping a little miniature highway styled area. You'll notice that this is actually 3 squares width instead of the bigger width that we have at the entry. And I want to add that this is a great thing to do on your city cores, because if you really think about it, in cities, all roads are not the same dimensions. We have little alleyways, we have different transitional spots, so your road widths can be different in certain locations, especially if it helps you build around a certain type of building that you're making, etc. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly fill this in, and then you're going to see how I end up transitioning this. Once again, if you're not doing a Japanese theme, that's okay. This transition will work great for other city core themes. This is why I did not want to focus on decor for this video. If you don't want to do a highway here, that's perfectly fine. Just do one road, and then you could easily do some terraform over here with an incline and make this into another transitional spot. There are so many possibilities with just road placement and layout, so definitely keep in mind that you can make minor adjustments, do little edits to the way you want it that best suits your actual island. But this is just what I chose to do. I'm just a huge fan of doing miniature highways wherever I can. It just fills in space, and again, having things spaced out like this will help reduce the lag on city core islands. I also want to add into this video before I forget, yes, I'm still doing my tropical island, so I promise I haven't abandoned that island yet. I'm really bad about flip-flopping my themes. I just really like to explore other aesthetics just so I don't get burnt out, and I'm hoping to redo some things on there. I'm going for a more Hawaii vibe, I think, now. I was trying to go for like a Miami kind of style, but then it ended up turning more Hawaii, which is not a bad thing. I really like Hawaii, so I'm thinking I'm going to go with more of that kind of aesthetic for that city core. I'm also planning to do several other different themes in the future. I know I want to make use of the medieval walls that we just got. I would love to do a desert theme with those, and I have a lot of things planned with those. I just haven't had time to do videos on those yet, so I promise I'll do some videos on how you can use those walls in different styles, etc. in the future. To finish off this area for the road, I am just framing it off with some sidewalk. Again, if your road does not end at the edge of your island like this, just continue to expand it and do any transitions and builds you want as you reach the end of your island. Now it's time to focus on the other side of our plaza, and all I'm going to do for this location, again, you can do whatever transition you want over here. You could even copy the same transition on the other side, but I like to do differences on my city core islands. I don't want it all super matchy, so I'm prepping this area over here for an incline leading up to maybe where a villager house would go. You could even do a city core build on top of this. This could even be where your house goes. So again, you can do whatever you want on top of where the incline is going to lead up to, but we are now just going to prep for that incline spot. So let's go ahead and do that. When I prep for incline transitions like this, I love leaving about 2 squares width, especially if it's near plaza, so I can plant some trees to frame it. This just adds more greenery to your island, and also it just makes it feel a lot more realistic. And I also like to place panels to hide the terraform on all the sides, especially if you can see it. It just makes your city core builds feel a lot more realistic. So we are going to be doing that as well in this video. And as you see, I'm starting to prep where my incline goes. I like to make sure that my incline kind of feels aligned with the sidewalk that I'm using, so I kind of just like put the incline further inside the terraform. Obviously you don't have to do it this way, but that's just like my personal way of doing it. Then I'm gonna go ahead and just fill in the remaining part of the snow that isn't covered yet with tile. I also want to add, you see these little spots where we have like that gap of snow where I'm not placing tile. I just love filling these in with shrubs and some simple decor. It just adds, again, more greenery to your island. Sometimes I'll put like a utility pole there. You can obviously just do like flowers there too, but I just wanted to add that into the video that I love filling in those awkward spaces that way. To hide the terraform here, I'm using these awesome panel designs by, I hope I say this right, COLIN.CROSSIng. And anyways, I have them linked in the video description too, as well as the MA code. I absolutely love using their panels for every city core lately that I've been doing. I just love the little signs that they've added and used. So I hope they add more details like this to their panels in the future, because I love the use of signs there. We don't really get billboards anymore on city core islands, and this just adds, again, more color and realism to our build. So I really hope they continue making panels like this. To frame my plaza, I love using different sized trees, especially if I want dimension changes around these. Keep in mind that in real life, our trees are not all the same size, so doing different tiers like this just adds more realism to your city core. And to stop the growth of a tree, all you need to do is plant a piece of fruit on either side of it. It doesn't matter, but for these areas, I prefer planting the fruit behind the tree so you don't see it. And again, the tree will never grow as long as that fruit is placed there. Then we're going to hide the rest of the terraform with more of these panels. Once we get on top of the second level terraform where our incline is, I just really like framing these with 2 different types of fencing. It just adds more realism and more texture to our build. I just love using hedges as much as possible because it just adds extra greenery, especially on a city core. So let's go ahead and fill these in. I'm just going to use the Zen fencing probably over here since this is going to be a winter Japanese theme in the future. So I'm just going to go ahead and frame all of that in. So now I went ahead and time traveled. I ended up getting my incline placed. I also moved a house up there where that incline led up to, and then I also relocated my house. You can do whatever you want up here, but I thought including a villager near the entry would be a great way to add more realism to our build. And then again, this is how it looks for where my house is placed. And I'm going to keep this area pretty simple. Again, we're not really focusing on decor for this video, but I will add some minor decorations just so you can kind of get a general idea on how this would feel with some decor. For the right side of Plaza, we are going to do the exact same tree and shrub combination just like on the left side, so it's uniformed and even. So now let's talk about what you could do behind Plaza. There are several different ways. You could transition the road behind there and just leave where the house is, a short little area of terraform, but instead I'm going to go ahead and expand said terraform out behind Plaza, and then we're going to use a different kind of simple panel behind there to hide the terraform. I use my favorite panel on almost every single city core that I do. It is this fence panel, and this creator has different seasons on there, and we're going to be using their winter one for this. So this is going to add greenery to our island, and everything's not going to feel super matchy. And just like the sides of Plaza, we are going to be filling the rest of the tiles in with a combination of shrubs and trees. So let's go ahead and fill those in. So above on this terraform, you could do a lot of different things. I am obviously going to do my hedge and fence combination because I just love doing that. You could do a city core build actually up here of apartments. You could add more villager homes. It is up to you. So do whatever you feel would suit best. As many know, I don't ever plan my builds. They're just totally winged. I know that's not realistic for everyone, which is why we do videos like this. And I have no idea how I would transition up here yet, but as I look at it more, I would probably also do another incline over here to finish off this area to go onto that second level of terraform, or you could just leave it as is and let that terraform stop where we put the second combination of simple panels there, and just let this be a different area to transition to, maybe a shopping strip, etc. You could also turn this terraform above into like a little lookout with a sitting spot, and then your road starts to transition and angle right behind it. So again, there's a lot of ideas and ways you can make this terraform and layout work. It's just up to how you choose to transition your spots, and again, where everything is going to be located on your map. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts about this entry transition in the comment section below. And again, if you need help ever on a build or entry layout, don't be afraid to also leave a comment in the comment section too. Once I finish up several themes, I'm hoping to actually continue this island in the future. I'm absolutely obsessed with every single road design Colin Crossing puts out. I also want to give him a huge thank you for doing some road add-ons that I really needed for this theme in the future and my other Japanese islands too. So thank you so much, Colin Crossing, for helping me out. Anyways, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and have a horrible day.